Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Ever feel like some people just effortlessly excel at everything they do? Like they were born with some kind of superpower?
Oh, totally. You see someone crush it at a new game, master an instrument, or just seem incredibly fit, and you think, ugh, wish I had that natural talent.
Well, what if I told you there's a secret sauce, not really a secret, but a highly effective method, that can turn "wish I had" into "I actually do"?
Intriguing. We're talking about deliberate practice. And trust us, it's not just about grinding away. It's about smart grinding.
Exactly. It's this super focused, super structured way of learning by doing, almost like a continuous experiment. You're not just practicing, you're intentionally improving, aiming for total mastery and eventually, making it second nature.
And it's not just a fancy buzzword. Science backs it up. A 2014 study in psychological science found that deliberate practice can actually boost your performance by a whopping 26% in games, 21% in music, and 18% in sports.
So, if you want to unlock your inner genius, or just get really, really good at something you love, stick around. We've got some killer tips on how to actually do it right.
Alright, first up, you gotta know what winning looks like. Define what success means for your specific skill. Break it down.
Yeah, think of it like this: if you're learning tennis, you don't just go out and play tennis. You might first focus solely on your serve. Over and over. Get that perfect.
Then, maybe you move to your footwork. Or your backhand. It's about isolating each element and drilling it, deliberately, one after the other. Don't try to juggle everything at once.
Exactly. Want to be a pro barista? First, nail the espresso shot, the grind, the temp, the pour. Get that down cold. Then move on to latte art, or perfect customer service, you know. This one's a game changer. Don't just wing it. Plan your practice routines. A simple notebook works wonders.
Definitely. And the reflection part is crucial. After each session, actually sit down for a minute. What did you discover? What clicked? What was a total disaster?
It's not about self-criticism, it's about getting a clear picture of how that specific session moved the needle. And then, here's the fun part: experiment. Try new ways, tweak your approach, find what works even better.
It's like being your own mad scientist for improvement. If I try this instead of that, what happens? Okay, this might sound counterintuitive, especially for us impatient types, but hear us out: go slow. Seriously, slow down.
Yep. To build that solid foundation of muscle memory, you need to practice slowly and correctly. If you rush, you risk internalizing the wrong techniques, and that can be a nightmare to unlearn later.
Imagine trying to learn a complicated dance routine at full speed on your first try. You'd be tripping over yourself. Your brain needs time to develop those neural pathways.
So, start at a snail's pace. Get it right. Then gradually crank up the speed until you're giving it absolutely everything you've got. Deliberate practice is hard work. It's mentally draining. So, don't try to power through 5 hours straight when you're already fried.
Exactly. You need to limit your sessions to a duration where you can genuinely stay focused. For younger folks, that might be 15 minutes. For older, more experienced individuals, maybe up to 60 minutes.
Think about it: Cristiano Ronaldo trains about 3 to 4 hours a day, but he's a pro athlete. Even the Shaolin monks, who are peak discipline, practice in 2-hour blocks in the morning and afternoon. And to keep their attention sharp, they switch up the style every 10 minutes.
The key isn't duration, it's intensity and quality of focus. A concentrated 30 minutes beats a distracted 2 hours any day. This one's brilliant. Legendary basketball coach John Wooden famously had his players practice putting on their socks and shoes really fast.
Sounds silly, right? But the idea was to save every possible second. By getting ready efficiently, they maximized the precious court time for actual ball practice and strategizing.
It's about identifying those little dead zones in your routine and turning them into opportunities. Where can you shave off a minute here or there to get more focused practice in?
This is a huge motivator. Don't just look at the big picture. Zoom in.
If you're training for an 800-meter run, don't just track your minutes. Track the milliseconds. Did you shave off 0.05 seconds? Awesome.
Working out or trying to control your diet? Measure milligrams and millimeters, not just pounds. The smaller those data points you're tracking, the faster you'll see progress.
And that rapid feedback loop? It's like rocket fuel for your motivation. You see those tiny wins, and you're pumped to keep going. Okay, this is where a lot of people go wrong. We see the finished product, the incredible concert, the winning goal, the flawless presentation, and we just want to be that.
Right? We watch Messi score a ridiculous goal and think, wow, I need to do that. But you're seeing the performance, the culmination. You're not seeing the thousands of hours of drills, mistakes, and repetitions.
Exactly. If you want to be as phenomenal as Pavarotti or as skillful as Messi, don't just watch their highlight reels. Study how they practice. What did their daily grind look like? What exercises did they do?
The magic happens behind the scenes, in the endless hard work. That's the real secret. Replicate the practice, and the performance will follow. This one might seem obvious, but it's worth stressing. Repetition isn't just about doing it over and over, it's about deliberate repetition.
Remember the 10,000-hour rule? A 1990s study by German psychologists popularized the idea that it takes around that much deliberate practice to become a professional violinist.
And it's not just classical musicians. A similar study looked at cigar makers in Cuba. New workers might take 25 seconds per cigar. After 100,000 repetitions, they're down to 15 seconds. And after a million? A staggering 8 seconds.
To reach absolute peak performance, it can take 7 years and 10 million repetitions of the same hand movements. That's insane dedication.
It's why professional football teams still play rondo daily, that keep-away drill. Or why pianists warm up with scales and arpeggios. It builds that fundamental, automatic mastery.
This brings us to routines. If you want to achieve mastery, you need consistency. The Shaolin monks are the ultimate example here.
Their day is meticulously planned, up at 5:30 a.m., chanting, breakfast, 2 hours of kung fu practice. Then vegetarian lunch with no liquids for digestion. Another 2 hours of practice in the afternoon, followed by dinner, chanting, meditation, and bed by 10 p.m.
Now, we're not saying you need to become a monk. But the principle applies. Start small. Even just 15 minutes of deliberate practice every single day. Then, slowly, gradually, increase that session time.
It's about building a habit. Make it non-negotiable, like brushing your teeth. That consistency is where the real magic happens. Alright, final tip, and it's a big one, get a coach. Or a mentor. Or someone who knows their stuff.
Seriously, a good coach isn't just there to tell you what to do. They're there to help you see your true potential and then guide you precisely in the right direction.
They can spot blind spots, give you targeted feedback, and hold you accountable. If you don't have one, start looking. It could be a teacher, a friend, or even someone you follow online who inspires you.
There are so many amazing resources out there. Don't underestimate the power of external guidance. And here's something truly profound. The Dalai Lama believes deliberate practice isn't just for muscles or physical skills. It works for our minds too.
He and other incredibly wise people deliberately practice taking in other people's anger, suspicion, and mistrust. And then, in return, they intentionally give back patience, tolerance, and compassion.
Imagine applying that level of deliberate practice to your emotional intelligence, your empathy, or even just your problem-solving skills. It's a whole new frontier for self-improvement.
So, what do you think about deliberate practice? Have you used it to get better at something? And do you think we can really apply it to training our thinking skills, beyond just emotional responses?
We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. Drop them in the comments below. If you found this helpful, smash that like button and subscribe for more insights into boosting your potential.
Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.